The story of the Absolute Universe continued this week with the release of Absolute Flash number 4. For those that aren't keeping up, DC's Absolute line is set in a brand new universe that was created by the evil new god Darkseid. This universe is permeated with his negative energy, and as such the world leans towards cruelty and malice. What this means for the heroes of this world is that they are at an immediate disadvantage without the resources that they have in the mainline DC universe. In the case of the Absolute Flash, he is teenager Wally West, a lonely, isolated kid that grew up traveling from state to state for his father's job as a colonel in the United States military. Colonel West is the head of the mysterious Project Olympus, where he worked alongside a charismatic scientist, Barry Allen, and the pair are clearly in the business of creating superpowered beings. Wally was caught in the energy from one of the experiments, and it seemed to transform him into a being of pure energy, with a completely abstract take on time. He experiences the past, unable to change the events, alongside the present, and he can see his possible futures. One where he's a beloved hero, the other where he's a beast. There's no Speed Force powering him, no wider support network of other speedsters. He's truly one of a kind. In fact, he managed to accidentally kill Barry Allen when he got his powers, and this is what caused him to go on the run. Wally was being pursued by an elite military unit, the Rogues, consisting of Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, Golden Glider, and the Trickster. When Wally proved to be too much for them, they unleashed their secret weapon, Grodd, a small green psychic monkey that had been created by Project Olympus. When Grodd connected to Wally, he saw a lot of similarities between them and decided to help him escape and deal with his trauma. And that's where this issue picks up, with Wally on the run along with Grodd. He now finds himself in Central City with no money and without a roof over his head. He and Grodd are sleeping rough, and this is no kind of life for anyone. Wally ventures into the city to look for a homeless shelter, and while queuing for food, he's approached by a man who runs a shelter for homeless children, Ralph Dibny. If that name sounds familiar, that's because in the mainline universe, he was the Flash's pal, Elongated Man. But in the Absolute Universe, he has no powers that we're aware of. He just works in a shelter for impoverished youth alongside his wife, Sue. And I thought it was really amusing that the area of town this homeless shelter is in is called Iron Heights. Anyone familiar with the Flash characters will know that Iron Heights is a prison in the mainline universe, and here it is an impoverished part of town. I feel like that comparison is really on the nose, but I am 100% here for it. It's at this shelter that Wally meets another runaway, Linda, who he seems to have an immediate connection with. Again, in the mainline universe, Linda Park is a significant figure in Wally West's life. She's his wife and the mother of his children. And the cameos and references don't end there. Back at Fort Fox, Wally's father is on the rampage. Rudy is not as in charge as we had been led to believe, as Dr. Thorne reminds him he's only in charge of security. She mentioned that her team has a contract with the Lazarus Corp, the big bads over in Absolute Superman, to create augmented weapons. She also clearly has no idea what Barry Allen was working on, noting that it was outside of the remit of their original contract. But what is clear is that whatever Barry was working on was significantly more powerful than anything that they had made previously. When Rudy demands that they cure Wally, Dr. Thorne says he may once have been a 15-year-old boy, but now he's a tremendous asset, and he's not the only one to have escaped from the facility that night. And here come a metric ton of references. Up first we have the previously mentioned Firestorm. The Trickster mentioned him in an earlier issue, and how the scientists at Fort Fox had been dissecting him. Firestorm, the nuclear man, has the ability to rearrange elements, to turn one thing into something else on a molecular level, and consists of two people, Ronnie Raymond and Professor Martin Stein. While we don't see him in this issue, the fact that he was being kept in a glass container like Grodd had been suggests that he may look quite different. Next to his container is another marked Project XXXXX, which is a complete mystery. However, I think the number of X's is significant. As there are 5 X's here, this indicates that their name has 5 letters that have been redacted. So that rules out Abracadabra, Pied Piper, and Top. I guess we'll have to wait and see who that is. Over on the other side of the room we have Wizard, which is likely the Weather Wizard, but I suppose it could be Abracadabra, although he's more of a magician than a wizard. Finally, we have Heatwave. Now he's pretty significant because we actually see him in this issue. In the evening, Wally notices that Grodd has run off into the sewers. When Wally challenges him, Grodd says that he's trying to stop hot. Wally mistakenly believes Grodd is complaining about the heat, but he's actually referring to Heatwave, who is hiding in the sewers. In the mainline universe, Heatwave is a regular man armed with a flamethrower, but here he's a massive magma monster. And this new design for Heatwave is horrific. Trickster previously referred to him as Mick Rory, so we know he was human once, but now he's just like this big, gloopy, glowing, red, hot monster. He can't be happy about it, hence why he's hiding away in the sewers, but we don't actually know what his intentions are. Grodd says they have to work together to stop him, but stop him from what exactly? Yeah, okay, it's probably nothing good, but he may not be intending to harm anyone else. Maybe just himself. Note that we saw him in the Mirror Master's flash forward from the end of the first issue, and at the time it didn't occur to me that this might be Heatwave. Given how compassionate Grodd was when he approached Wally, I have to imagine that he will try to connect with Heatwave if he hasn't already. And it's also worth considering that in the Absolute Universe, expectations have been subverted, especially when it comes to the villains. I think it remains to be seen if Heatwave is going to be a threat to Wally, or if he might just be a friend. Absolute Flash 4 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I just filled another box with Wonder Woman comics, oh no! You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? Any guesses on what those portals that Wally leaves in his trail are? They seem kinda similar to the Omega Gates seen in the mainline universe right now. I have to wonder, with a name like Thorn, what the future has in store for the good Doctor. It's too obvious that she'd become the Reverse Flash, right? What about the title of this story? The Trials of the Flash. It all sounds very much like something ripped straight from classical mythology, doesn't it? And can you blame Grodd for refusing to stay hidden in Wally's backpack? Not really much better than the glass cage he was being kept in at Fort Fox, is it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time. I'll be back next week to talk about Absolute Martian Manhunter 4, which seems to involve a dramatic increase in violence on account of a heatwave, and you just know that that pesky white Martian is behind it somehow. And after that I'll cover Absolute Wonder Woman 9, where we will learn more about what Dr. Poison has in mind for Diana and how it relates to the mysterious Area 41. Hope to see you then.